Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody.
How are you this evening? Actually, it's evening
Welcome,
everywhere you are.
welcome.
Where is
Welcome
that?
back.
Where's that guy? There
There's
he
that
is.
guy.
Wow.
I will
Welcome
be one
back
of
to
your
Late
tour
Night
hosts this
Snack.
evening, Irish Melly. We have up here the beautiful DeWanda. We have.
Hi, everybody.
Wait. This way is
You're going
that
the right
guy.
way.
And then right up there is the beautiful Lady Di. So thank you guys all for coming back. We hope you're hungry because we got lots of snacks.
Yeah, we
Hey,
do.
ladies, how are you?
And I'm going to be
please,
mobile for a moment, everybody. So, yeah.
So today we're talking
Anyways,
about
welcome, hon.
Who? What?
today we are talking about the Hotel Cortez,
Hotel.
American Horror Story season 5.
You are now entering room 64.
Lord.
And we want to talk about Afro Whale. Hey,
What's up,
we
Afro?
want to
Hey,
talk about,
Alfie!
instead of doing a recap of the whole season, we're talking about specific characters. So today we want to talk about people that are they villains? Is it just their victim of circumstance? So we want to know what you guys think. The reason I'm kind of starting off is because the first person who seems to be a villain right away is the Countess Elizabeth. Now, we see Elizabeth, it's 1925, the roaring 20s. She's a flapper. She's on an old school BRT. She's on an old school movie. And this is back in like the silent film era. And she's an extra on a film, and they're filming a movie called The Son of Sheik, which, if you don't know, is a very famous silent film. It was the last one that Rudolph Valentino made, and he was known as this incredible Latin lover, gorgeous god person, but you never
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, guys. We have a little bit of a delay,
Oh.
but we're
I
trying to
think
work
the
on
only
it.
other person who was as famous as him would be Charlie Chaplin and maybe Mary Pickford, as far as silent film stars that are still known today.
Mm-hmm.
So we see her on this movie set. She looks totally different. She's got brown hair. She's talking with a little bit of an accent, which we find out later is from Bensonhurst. And she spies him. He spies her. He asked her to meet her. She's freaked out because he sent her a note and said, I want you to meet me at the Garden of Allah. And that's mentioned several times in different American Horror Story seasons. It was this old school Hollywood kind of fancy apartment building where they would put up film stars, and later became kind of a rundown place where not so great people were. But when Valentino was there, it was very chic because he was a sheik. Anyway, so they meet, they tango, they look up, they see his wife. His wife joins in, and they become polyamorous. Which who knew? 1925, a polyamorous relationship.
You know,
Not something you normally see every day, but she also discovers that she is bisexual, which is a very important part of this story, as we find out later on. So she's having this love affair, and Valentino goes to promote his movie with his wife, who he finds out they're divorcing because people don't want him to be married, they want him to be single.
right?
Like back in the old days, they never let anyone get married. Even our days, John Bon Jovi was married. His agent was like, "Don't tell anybody you're married. You have to be a single person." Hi, Dad. We're talking about the Countess. So she ends up at a opening of the Hotel Cortez with one of her other flapper friends, and she walks into the room and she's with her friend, and her friend is like, where have you been? What's going on? And she's like, oh, I've been around. She doesn't want to tell everybody these things. And her friend's like, look, anybody who knows anyone is going to know, has been to this hotel and knows this man, and his name is James Patrick March.
JPM in the house.
So we're going to go to Michael, who's going to tell you a little bit about how he built the hotel, and then we'll go back to me.
Yeah, so JPM, James Patrick March, Evan Peters, probably fans' favorite performance by Evan. I mean, it's classic. This is great. He's based off of H.H. Holmes, who is probably one of the first famous, notorious serial killers. Who, to make a long story short, basically kind of did what JPM did. Built a hotel with a bunch of trap rooms and trapped a bunch of people in there and killed them for joy. And that's really how JPM is portrayed. He's sadistic, and there's not a good thing about him. The only thing that is positive about JPM is he really loved the Countess, but he showed it in a way of almost possession. He didn't want her to go anywhere. He didn't want her to do anything except for be there at his pleasure. Even after his death, he made an arrangement with her and we'll talk about that when we get back to Die. But so anyway, so March, he builds a hotel in the same fashion as Holmes, and he wants to sadistically kill people, and he does. And the brutalness of hotel comes all through March. I mean, there's a lot of blood and stuff around the Countess, but these brutal killings that they show on here that he does,
the way that he constructed it,
it's insane. Yeah, it's absolutely
with the chutes and the ladders and the secret rooms,
big walls and dead ends and stuff. It's crazy.
Torture chambers.
But the way Evan does him is just so charismatic, and that accent and the flamboyance that he has, it's really funny.
And you swear he's a 50-year-old man.
Yeah. He's jealous. He's possessive. He's all these things that these sadists are, and his jealousy is with the Countess, and I'm sure that Diana will talk more about it. But it goes as far as he controls everything, even her womb. Controls the child that she's carrying, But first he woos her. The first thing he does is, after he gets her in, his control, he woos her his way. He's very charismatic. But she was also going on the whole thing about Valentino, just losing him and all that he trapped her in there. But anyway, so we're going to talk about March in huge depth.
Yes. So she meets this man, and she sees him, and you can tell she's kind of sizing him up a little bit. Okay. He's got a bottle of Dom, and
oh no, delay
again.
Keep talking, Die.
Keep talking.
And while she's watching him, somebody comes in with a newspaper that said that Valentino has dead.
Yeah.
And you see the look on her face. She's just distraught. And this is the interesting thing where Ryan Murphy takes history. When Rudolph Valentino really died, back in the day, there were women throwing themselves out of buildings. This was something that happened, and he just took a page from history. She was so distraught, and she didn't know what to do, and she was getting ready to jump, and he stopped her and said, there's no reason for you to be this way.
I'll never let go of you. Never
let you go.
And she's so miserable. She says, well, if I'm going to have to lead a miserable life, I should be surrounded by beautiful things.
Yep.
The other thing, so she marries March. She finds out he is what she is. And because she's gone to such a deep, dark place, here she was, this little mousy girl from Bensonhurst who came out to be a movie star, who had a love affair with Valentino, who was about as sweet as you could ever get. This woman was not born to be a villain like March was. She became a villain because everybody that she really did love or she did care either fucked her over, left her, or betrayed her in her eyes. Some of them for real, some of them for not so real. We'll get to Ramona later. So she doesn't care that he does what he does. Instead of, why are you taking care of a hobo? Why aren't you killing a hobo? Why don't you kill someone with money so we can profit from it? and she dyes her hair platinum blonde. Um, and we just think that she's going along with it. But then we see her. This was also an urban legend. It was written about by Hedda Hopper and like the trades. After Valentino died, every single day, a woman dressed in black visited his mausoleum with a red single rose. Another page from history. The
Yep.
women are talking about it. And then all of a sudden, she finds out that Valentino is not dead. Now, this is another urban myth. People said he faked his death and that his stunt double, George Fisk, was really the one that they buried. And he took all of that and used it to his advantage, all the way to further it.
Right.
She was like, "Why did you leave me?" And he said, "I couldn't." Why? And then we find out why he did it. He meets this director, the one who did Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing too that I skipped over is when they were going to switch over to talking movies, because Valentino had a very strong Italian accent. The people in Hollywood were telling him he wasn't going to be famous anymore because he didn't sound like an American. This was back in the 20s when
Mhm.
people came over and they were ashamed of their heritage. They wanted to be not ashamed, but they wanted to be American. They didn't want it. They wanted to speak English. They didn't want to have accents. They wanted to be a Joe American apple pie guy. And they said as soon as they hear your voice, they're not going to fall in love with you anymore. So he's tasked with now what do I do? I'm at the top of my fame. My movie's just being released. And guess what? I happened to meet this German movie director who went into the Carpathian Mountains, who meets this beautiful race of people who are infected with a blood virus.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Bum, bum, bum.
it's Valentino who infects his wife Natasha, and they come back for their little mouse, for Elizabeth. And they make plans to go away. March finds out about it in total March fashion because I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, he's the one true villain. To me, he's the biggest
He is
villain in this
evil.
whole series.
He's evil.
He is so obsessed with her that he takes them and he beats them up and he encases them in a room in the hotel that is right where she is. And
Yeah.
she thinks they love
It's
her.
sick.
It's disgusting. She finds out all those years later that the thing that she has been so now she's first she lost him and her, then she lost him again, but she thought he abandoned her. So first you go from someone dying and then someone being abandoned. No wonder this woman's turning into a royal bitch. And one
Yeah.
Yeah, you think he's right there in her presence the whole time.
obsessed with
Yeah.
Valentino, so she goes on a quest to replace him. And you see from all of the different people
We
she
lost your
picked,
audio.
with the exception
You're
of
losing
Ramona.
Di, you're losing your audio.
No
Oh,
audio.
sorry. Is this better? I'll get closer. You see,
There.
with the exception of Ramona, all of the men that she chooses, it's like she has a type. Hello, she has a type. So
Mm-hmm.
the question lies in there, does that make her a villain because now she's acting like one because she's been she's married to this man who even though he loves her he treats her terribly.
Mm-hmm. She's in
she
possession.
she ended up getting pregnant before she was turned, went to Murder House, hello crossover, saw Charles Montgomery, and it was some kind of a weird thing. And see, I thought she got pregnant as a vampire, and that's why Bartholomew was fucked up. But he wasn't. I don't know what happened, but while he was trying to give her an abortion, because she said she was only 3 weeks pregnant, I guess she was just lying. She
Right.
ended up having this baby that she did have a love for. And actually, um, in her wanting to have more children, she kind of goes on a quest to have her group of little towhead, blonde hair, blue eyed vampire children, and she feeds them candy and cleans their blood because she wants healthy people to keep. Is that better, Debbie? Okay, good. Thank you. She wants she wants young blood, and you hear that from a lot of people. Even if you go back to blood is
Oh,
vitality
she was ready. She's not.
young people to have blood.
Lost you
So
again.
we
That
don't
was my fault.
we don't know where the two little boys come from, the little towhead boys, but we find out then she recruits this little girl named Bryn, who's outside the Hotel Cortez in the 80s. And you kind of get the idea that when she gets a little bit older, her father is going to molest her. And she was hoping to die in the car, and she saves her. She also saves another little boy that she feels is being neglected, and we'll talk about him in our next episode, Holden. And she has this little collection, so it's almost like she wants to be a mother and she wants to have love, and because she's so twisted because everyone else has screwed her over, she
Yep.
has this way of doing everything.
Mhm.
So
But she still becomes a villain in her own right for her actions of what she
I
does.
mean, she does. I mean, she does terrible, horrible things. She
That's
becomes a
horrible.
vampire. She is a villain. The question is, she wasn't one,
No.
and do we have any kind of, because every once in a while with her, and I liken this to Fiona, you see little glimpses.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
see
good in her.
little glimpses. You see the loving mother, or trying to. I remember how much I loved you, Donovan. Or Tristan looks like she's trying to replace Valentino, and then when she gets reunited with Valentino again, she's so happy. And what happens? Donovan finds him and kills him. So she gets him back,
Hmm.
finds out what
Lose him
Mark
again.
did, and
But then,
again lost.
yeah.
So here's someone that every time you think you see she's getting a little softer, at least this is what I see. I don't know if the rest of you agree with me. She she has something tragic happen to her that turns her. She
Well,
she softens up, and then she feels that she's either betrayed, someone dies, or someone leaves, and
well,
then
where,
she
where
goes
I
up.
where I think she loses it completely into the villain role for me, and there's just no coming back from, is when she takes Tristan from Liz. When she really takes
Yes.
Tristan from Liz, it's just that's like everything that's ever happened to her. She just does out of spite, just somebody who really truly loves her and cares
Yep.
about her. So that's where she
Well,
just
I
becomes.
think she does it before when she does it to Ramona,
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, she's done it twice.
Yep.
because she thinks that these people betrayed her,
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
because that she doesn't share.
Yeah. No.
Once you're hers, you need to be hers, and I think it's just because she's so desperate to have the person that she loves, and they
Yeah, I always
something
lose.
always happens to them,
Yep.
and it's not just fate. Her wonderful fucked up villain husband causes a lot of it.
Yep. Yeah, Deb, I agree.
Yeah, Debbie, agree.
Yeah, she's basically acting out on her need. She has that need, that want to have the things that she loves, and they keep getting taken away from her. It's just like nobody else can have it either.
Nope.
But
So
that's
she wants to, like what she does with Donovan, she wants to break up with other people before they break up with her,
before
which
they
is a
hurt.
Right.
total classic anybody.
Yep.
Except for her breaking up, her way of breaking up with someone is a little bit different.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Let's look at the comments here. My audio, okay, hopefully my audio is better. Thank you, BRT. Yeah, she collects heartbreaks. Ren's dad was a total scum.
Yes.
Ryan does always give us fucked up mothers that have a redeeming quality in their own way. And I mean, this is
Mhm.
not just Ryan Murphy. This is most of the filmmakers in the universe.
Right.
There's always somebody whose mother, I mean, you never really see a healthy relationship a lot of times, um, between a mother and a son. We'll get into Miss Evers even later. Dawn's going to talk about her. Somebody that you think was, a good parent or going to be a good parent, or even someone like Alex, who is a doctor and supposed to be a good parent. It's just, even all the way back to Murder House, was 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 Violet being No one was paying attention to Violet. She was off doing her own thing and left alone, and no one paid attention.
Yep.
And abandonment.
Yeah.
All the way back. And then it's all in asylum. It's
a big
in
cycle.
it's in every season in different ways.
Yep.
What if Ryan had a bad relationship with his mother?
Well, but I mean, it's even in Shakespeare. It's tragedy. It's Macbeth. I mean, it's just love and hate and betrayal and those kind of things are just part of theater.
Right. I mean, Michael, do you want to add anything about March, or are you gonna?
Well, I mean, she started talking about Ever, so go ahead and tell Eversort.
Okay. So the
Your
question
mother.
is Miss Evers a villain or not? Personally, I don't think she is.
No,
because,
she's crazy.
yeah, well, yeah, she's crazy. Because she's the laundress in the hotel, and she's been there since the early 20s. And March is the one that employed her, but it turns out that she's in love with him. So basically, she will bend over backwards and do anything
and
everything that March wants, without question.
Ultimate sacrifice.
She will do anything for him. So when we see her, you see her throughout the hotel, and the only thing she's doing is basically she's laundering all of the linens to try to get all the blood stains and everything out of them. That's the only thing she does. It's like she walks around the hotel. She cleans up messes and walks around the hotel, just basically giggling because like she knows that something bad's going to happen. So she puts like the "Do Not Disturb" sign down and waits until everything's done, and then it's like, oh, good, another mess I get to clean up. But
and honestly, I got to tell you, Mayor Winningham is sprinkled in American Horror Story. This is my Mayor Winningham kicks this character out of the park.
Oh, and this is one of my favorite.
She just, I mean, everybody kicks their characters out of the park and hotel. The characters themselves are so. She gives her so many layers, especially when you find out why she is like she is. Again, why is she like that? Dawn's going to tell us.
Well, basically, what happened to her? This happened in 1925. Was Halloween. And they were trick-or-treating, and she had turned her back, was talking to a friend of hers, and her son Albert, I think he had to be like, what, maybe
4, 5, 6?
7?
Yeah, it's young.
He
was pretty young, but he didn't like his costume, so he was complaining about it the whole time. He's saying, because he'd see everybody else's costumes, and he wanted something like that. And so she just, it was basically a sheet with holes cut in it, and that was it. And then she turns around and she starts talking to a friend of hers, and Albert gets enticed into a car from a stranger, and by the time she realizes it, it's too late because Albert's already gone. So he's been abducted, and we find out later that he was abducted by, what was his name? I wrote it down. He was abducted by Gordon Northcott, a universal depiction of the perpetrator of the Wineville chicken coop murders.
Chicken coop murders.
They never found his body, and all they found was a bloody sheet. So basically,
that's gotta.
Yeah,
that's gotta.
It's broken.
It's like the villains in Hotel, I think, more than any other season, they seem like more like good people. They start off good, and they
start off good. I mean, she still does good stuff throughout the hotel. I mean, she brokers the meeting with Liz and her son. Even though she's like,
but only when you want it, but only for reward.
I know, only for her reward of oxygenated laundry
Tide.
detergent. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Capitalism.
You know, she's trying to do these things, and but then she's also, you know, like when she goes to Will and she's like, "You're gonna die if you marry that woman."
And she also ended up
Because she's not loyal to the Countess. She's only loyal to March.
Yeah, she's only loyal to March. She was basically March's last victim.
Yeah, she has to be. I feel bad for her because her
like a
demise,
last live victim while he was alive.
her eternity is devastating. It's
Yeah.
because she was there. She has to be his last victim to be there for him forever. That she was constantly going to be in that role. She was satisfied by that role. It was almost like her bliss. She was there. She was in heaven. She was cleaning up the messes. You're in the hallways laughing and giggling. And then he turns on her in ghost form. They turn it as ghosts. And he leaves her in total ruin, total devastation. So now she's in an eternity following behind him, knowing that he has dismissed her. It's tragic. It's really poor thing.
I mean,
it is because regardless of her story and even if you don't like what she does for him, she's very loyal to him. If you just don't look beyond what she did. If you were to put anything else in that position instead of killing or covering up blood, you know, she was very loyal to him. She was like a trusted friend, a confidant. Like
she did everything for him.
When he told her, my father always told me it was better to marry a homely woman because they're less work. And you say that to someone's face?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't do something then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true.
That line has to be one of the cruelest lines in American Horror Story history.
Yeah. But I have to admit, though, she is one of my favorite characters.
She's amazing. I mean, Mayor Winningham in general is such an underrated. I mean, from St. Elmo's Fire to now.
He is. She's a very underrated actress, and she's
her
amazing.
age characters are crazy. She has some crazy characters.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like in Coven, you wanted her to die. You know,
oh God, I know, and I hated that because I love her.
Yep. She plays these great quirky things, and with Miss Evers, she's
although her
supposed
character
to be
in Cult was kind of normal and was
she didn't last very long, which was sad. But
no,
it was just cameo.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was in Hotel more than any other of the series.
Yeah, that was her biggest role. Miss Evers was her biggest role.
Yeah,
but I mean, I have to think about what a glorious stain. Yeah, that's another one of her perfect.
I was going to bring that up, but yes, what a glorious stain.
You know, and that's the other thing you have in all the American Horror Stories.
I didn't pull up my text.
You have the person who's cleaning up. You have in Murder House, you have Moira, who's always cleaning up the mess. And in Asylum, you have not just one person. It's not as
the Monsignor cleaned up all of our messes.
But then in Coven, you have all I'm going to be doing is taking the stains off of these women when Kathy Bates is cleaning. There's always someone dressed like a maid cleaning up a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's another thing he likes to put in a little bit in every season and more in some of the others. Bile. He's like, how great you are. I had this that was soaked in bile, and it looks like it just came out of the dry cleaner. And she's just thrilled to death. And you feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her.
Well, and the way things end up when he completely dismisses her, that's just like, oh.
Well, it's like it's a full circle. It's a full circle for her misery because before all she lived for was that kid. You know, the kid was her life, and that was snatched from her. She kind of has a break, and she finds a new life with March, and her told to devotion to him, and he takes that from her too.
Yeah. Well, and that's all the characters in this whole series. So then you get back to the Countess, to Elizabeth, and she lost Valentino, and she's with this crazy person, and then one night she's out at a disco and she meets this beautiful African goddess named Ramona Royale, and this is where we she cements she knows already she's bisexual, and
Right.
she meets her, and then take it away, Melinda.
Take it away, Mel.
Okay, so Ramona is slightly complicated, but at the same time isn't. She's well, let me describe Ramona for those of you who don't know or don't remember or haven't seen it. Um, let's see. Ramona is a statuesque African American woman with a strong character and ambitious spirit. She will do anything to be in power and will do anything to get revenge on Elizabeth the Countess.
Yep.
She has curly black hair and thick full lips, as we know the lovely, beautiful Angela Bassett does. And that's the next thing I was going to mention is that Ramona Royale is played by Angela Bassett, who we love and adore.
And she's never looked better. Angela Bassett is gorgeous.
Oh, and her character is, it's based on Pam Grier when she did Foxy Brown.
And I was going to mention that when I got to the
sorry.
No, it's okay. Because I was going to give you guys a little bit of background on Ramona. She was the star of a run of 1970s blaxploitation films, including Slaughter Sister, Silky Fine, and Bride of Blackenstein. In 1977, her aspiration to move beyond being the B-movie queen to becoming a Hollywood A-lister led her to meeting Elizabeth. The two had a decade-long relationship, with Ramona becoming one of Elizabeth's afflicted progeny in the process. In 1991, Ramona's ambition to be something more. And let me just say, before we get to 1991, they do a great job. I love how they do it without saying it in words. The flashes that they do of just showing them at the elevator, and the flashes through the years. And they jump from, it's 83 to 86 to 91.
Yep.
Right.
And you see 83, they're all over each other. 86, they're close together, but their backs are a little bit to each other. And then you see 91, they're way far apart. Their backs are to each other. They have very strong, stern stances. There's nothing soft and feminine about it. So you can tell there's a lot of aggression or anger or just frustration in general there. You can really read that in their body language, which I love. Because like I said, they didn't have to say it for you to get it.
Yeah, it's so real.
She does get the most delicious characters. Oh my God, you're
delicious
so
is
right,
the
Debbie.
perfect word to describe Angela Bassett. She's
delicious.
Okay, so in 1991, Ramona's ambition to be something more than just one of Elizabeth's brood pets led her to become a maker herself by turning her new lover, Prophet Moses, who was a rapper, an up-and-coming rapper. As soon as Elizabeth found out about her paramour making profit and afflicted, she wreaked jealous revenge by murdering the up-and-coming rapper and his entire crew, completely severing the relationship between the two forever.
Yep.
Ramona returned to visit her parents in 1992 after Elizabeth renounced her relationship with her. Within months, both of her parents became ill, and her father deteriorated mentally after her mother died. He had dementia, and he just kept falling apart, and we saw that he just slowly
Can we give a quick shout out to her mother was Marla Gibbs?
Yes, yes.
Lauren from the Jeffersons.
Yes.
I loved her. I think she's
Debbie
still with
said
us.
she wants a Bride of Blackenstein poster. Yeah. We'll have to get you one. We'll find you one. Maybe that'll be one of Debbie's prizes she eventually wins.
Go. I'm sure they make them somewhere.
I'm sure we could probably find something like that.
Yeah. So then after Ramona's mother dies and her father's mental health is deteriorating, at this point it was slow, and it was slow before, and now it's just like rapidly deteriorating really bad. And they show that progression, which was nice. But one night their house was burglarized and Ramona returned home to find her father beaten and near death. So she fed him her blood, hoping it would cure his Alzheimer's disease, but it didn't work, and he didn't have the mental capacity to understand his new condition.
Right.
And then it says after 20 years, she found out he had killed 2 intruders, After drugging him, she drowned him in the bathtub.
And this is really interesting when we talk tomorrow, because her blood didn't heal him, but someone else who was turned healed somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Isn't that really, really, really interesting? But I think part of it, because I thought that too. And the first time I watched this season, I was thinking that, and I'm like, why did that happen that way? And I think it's because of his dementia, his Alzheimer's.
Yeah, because all she did was stop the progression.
Right, and
right, but there was another vampire who,
because now had she had like supreme type powers, you know, radiant health and all, so it would have been different. But maybe that's what it was, is because it's not, you know, that powerful. It's a powerful entity, but in this Ryan Murphy universe, the witches are the most powerful. The Supreme is the most powerful entity in this universe.
Alex is the one who.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I can think is maybe because it was a different condition. It was a blood condition with the boy. But with the boy, it was a blood condition, whereas with Alzheimer's, it's not a blood condition, it's a brain condition. So that's the only thing I can think of why it would have been different. But it was one of those little loophole things where it was like, hey, what's happening?
And you know, when it happened to Iris, she was like, yeah, now when I do get this gift, I'm stuck in this body. And this, so that's kind of what they want to say, but I don't know why they were able. Okay, so Max had a curable. Yeah, I'm not sure, because they do make a way. They do go out of their way of telling of Iris saying, and now I'm not going to get any better, and this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. You know, she doesn't get to change either.
What?
Wow! No way.
That's what I said. What the fuck?
Okay.
That's right. Don't worry. I'll make one.
Yeah, careful what you wish for. Or what we promise. Careful what we promise.
Hey, we didn't say it would be authentic.
Yeah, that's not authentic either. Because look at the title of it. That's not,
I know. I did one.
Yeah, there is a movie called Blackenstein.
Yeah, that was that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Mel, any more information?
I mean, that's the gist of it, as for Ramona's backstory, but I know you guys have mentioned here and there, and I know we touched on Donovan last time, but basically, like, her story ends up, Donovan comes to her and he wants revenge on the Countess because the Countess has now disowned Donovan.
Well, she gets him, and she gets him when he's down in the dumps.
Right.
But the thing is, and taking it back to, and that's why I stopped at Ramona. So here you have, she finally gets over, or tries to get over, Valentino, and so now she falls in love with a woman who even though they're falling apart, that's still her woman, and that woman betrays her.
Uh-huh.
Just like
her property.
Just even to Liz. Tristan was hers first. It shouldn't have mattered because of how she was, but that's her thing. That's what trips her off, because things have been taken away from her. That's what pushes her buttons.
I love Revenge Ramona. She's great.
I know, I do too.
I love her too. She's so much fun.
You know, and so it's like when you have those two women, you feel bad for both of them in different ways. To me, I feel the Countess is more of a villain than Ramona. Ramona was just acting out about what happened to her, and unfortunately for Ramona, she only got fucked up that one time. Poor the Countess has been for 114 years. She's been screwed over by everyone. She can't trust anyone, and the only one she trusts was locked away 2 feet away from her.
And she had no idea the whole time. Had no idea.
Yep.
You know, because technically the only major villain we have here is
March.
Yep. He's the only true villain of the show.
I mean, even the Countess in her own right is a villain, but she's in a way a justified villain. Not all of her kills. Not all of her kills are justified. But what got her started as a villain, all of the things that happened to her.
Yeah.
Even Donovan, he was ODing, she saved him.
Right.
She feels like she saved Ren because Ren's father was going to hurt her. You know, she felt like she was saving people.
Yeah.
So to her, it was justified. It was still wrong, but you can see why she might have done it. It wasn't just for sadistic, you know, she wasn't a serial killer. She was, you know, she wasn't a serial killer.
Right.
Like she married one.
Serial killers are you know, just sadistic, and March is a true serial killer. She's a
Yep, I never thought I'd be foot tapping Dominique.
be what?
Dominique.
Oh,
Can we talk about Hotline Bling for a second? How does Ryan make ridiculous song choices work so damn well? Is that the one where Donovan is singing with the glass of whiskey?
It's great. Yeah. I love that. It's the lyrics.
You have to watch American Horror Story with the subtitles on. You have to, because they play the lyrics.
Amazing. I've done it. Great.
That's the one where where Donovan's smoking the cigarette, drinking the whiskey, dancing. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. If you want to talk about, we'll get off on a tangent, but I didn't get a chance to talk about music. Of all of the series, of all of the songs, episode 1 of Hotel, at the very end, they play while John is packing up to move into the hotel. Fucking the whole song of Hotel California.
Yep.
And that to me is like the most perfect. Like that's a song you hear so much, sometimes you get sick of it. They play it to death. Mm-hmm. But even watching this a week or so ago with my husband, I mean, because there's no words, but it's, you know, he starts where he does he does it more and more as he gets into different seasons. He plays the whole song and you watch John, you know, you can, and you know, it ends out, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. And then it's the end of the first episode and you're just like,
yeah.
Talk about the most perfect song for anything.
Plays a big part.
One caress during Liz and Tristan's lovemaking. Put the lyrics on. Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, you know, there's the Jack the Ripper where the girls are like doing that with John, and that's like an old 60s song. Yeah. I mean, they have
whoever's on our staff is a big music buff.
Yeah, the music in Hotel to me is the best of all the seasons.
We could, if we wanted, to do an entire show just on the music from.
We should.
Yeah.
And Hotel has more music than I think any of the other ones. Even though there was a lot in Freak Show, Hotel had a lot.
You guys, with 1984.
That one's kind of yeah.
But 1984 was like Billy Idol. You know, it's like this was all over the place.
Early 80s. There was more than that.
Yeah,
but anyway, we're getting on a tangent.
Hotel was so interesting because he took stuff from the 60s.
Code word. Until everybody stops talking.
Code word works.
Oh, thank you, Debbie. So let's see. Who is the little mouse now? Donovan's Jam. Yep. So let's hear it in the comments. Do you guys think the Countess was a villain? Do you think that it was justified, some of the things that she did? I think some of it was, not all of it.
No.
I think she had a big maternal instinct and she tried to, I mean, she was just also 114 years old. Hello.
Yeah. There's some selfish intentions by her.
But I don't think it happened till Valentino died. She was so different when she met him on that movie set. She was the little Italian girl from Bensonhurst.
Yep. But I believe that is the end of our show. Unless anyone has anything else they want to add.
Because I talked to Mike later.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else they would like to add?
Not for this topic.
No, that's it. Do we have a wand of the day?
We finally have this one, and let me tell you. We had not done this one. I tried to do this one during unboxing. We don't do ones on unboxing. This one, I'm surprised we haven't done. This is the most important one in the entire saga. This is it. Not Dumbledore's wand, not Harry Potter's. This wand right here. We gotta wait. This is Draco Malfoy's wand. Why is this so important? This is the one that kills Voldemort. This one. Not the big fancy ones. This one. So it's like
Just the
everybody puts
basic
all the stock in everybody's, Harry's wand and Voldemort's wand, all the big fancy ones. Nope, it was Draco's wand that killed the evil and saved the day. So the fact that we hadn't done this before, just a regular, it's black on the bottom. It's a regular stick.
Huh.
Yep, saved the whole saga. Draco Malfoy. And it goes along with today's show too. Is he really a villain?
Yeah.
Or is he misled? That's Draco.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, 'cause you
True.
see him as like you think he's a little brat, and then he gets all
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
absolutely. So tomorrow, guys, we are doing
Tomorrow
Devil's
we are doing Devil's Night.
We are doing Devil's Night.
Bum, bum, bum. Everybody come dressed as your favorite serial killer.
So,
Debbie, you have to wear little Jenny's pigtails.
Oh. But yes, thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
yeah, Blaze and Afro. Nice to see you.
yes,
Alfie.
Yes.
So thank you
No.
guys for being here. Remember, you guys go ahead and thumbs up the stream. You guys hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you guys are notified every single time that we upload. We love you. We love you for being here.
Oh boy,
Good
what?
night.
Keep
Oh, boy.
safe.
All
Bye,
right,
guys.
everybody.
Safe.
Bye, guys.
Are we out? Why are we here? We at?
No.
We're out.